Disruption at the French port of Calais as 50 migrants board a British ship while it was unloading. The battle against the Zika virus intensifies. Now, several countries warn women to avoid getting pregnant. And capturing the golden hours, we're in Antarctica in search of the world's longest sunset. People have been affected by a fierce snowstorm in the United States. Emergencies have been declared in 11 states, and at least 17 people have died. Parts of the eastern US have had as much as 28 inches of snowfall in the last 24 hours. Road, rail, and air travel have been paralysed. Our correspondent Laura Bicker is in Washington.
Here we are 30 hours in, and we're still in blizzard-like conditions. As for the amount of snowfall at Dulles Airport, we've had over 23 inches of snow. In neighbouring Virginia, we have over 30 inches. These are near record-breaking amounts, and still it continues to fall.
The battle has begun. As this blizzard enters its final hours, there are attempts to try to clear up to 2 feet of snow from the nation's capital. In New York, where the snow's been worse than forecast, plows try to reclaim Times Square. All travel is now banned in the city. If you drive on the roads, you'll be arrested.
People have to heed these warnings now and immediately get home. And again, the NYPD will enforce this travel ban.
In New Jersey, the fight was against flooding. Freezing waters from a high tide not seen since Hurricane Sandy flowed into seaside resorts, and thousands lost power. Airports along the East Coast felt abandoned as over 7,000 flights were cancelled, and those who tried to drive struggled. In Kentucky, 3,000 cars were stuck on the motorway for hours. There were similar scenes in Pennsylvania, where motorists have been stuck since Friday night, including a college basketball team and their British teammate.
I mean, the buses stopped, they're told, yeah, there's an accident up ahead, and we're going to be sitting here for a while. Snow's really picking up. I've never seen snow like this, like coming from England, so I didn't really know what to expect.
The snowstorm has transformed the landscape of 20 states. 1 in 7 Americans will wake up to around a foot of snow. In Washington, the blizzard has been one of the worst in the city's history, turning its famous view of the White House into a whiteout in 24 hours. But there are some who simply cannot hide their joy at a snow day. Chan Chan is one of the few enjoying himself and doing his own particular dance through the worst of this weather.
The forecast is for the snow to continue the areas of Sunday morning, and then the sun comes out. But that is when the clean-up must begin, and that could take both some time and be expensive.
Laura Bicker there. Well, Carla Bargiarena is with ABC News in New York City. She joins me from the Upper West Side of Manhattan now. Carla, those streets presumably would normally be packed with people at this time on Saturday.
That's right, especially on a weekend. Good evening to you, Ben, from a very, very cold New York City. And as you just mentioned, it looks pretty much like a ghost town. Believe it or not, this snow that's coming down seems to be tapering off because the snow has been hitting hard all day long. You can see behind me, the streets are empty. Cars are completely covered in snow, and folks are starting to slowly come out of their apartments to start shoveling the snow to make its way for their cars to come out possibly as soon as tomorrow.
Carla, one of the really interesting points was this travel ban that the Mayor of New York has imposed, saying that only emergency vehicles are allowed on road. Have you seen many people breaking that ban at all?
You know, not very many. Of course, there are those that still decide to go out and brave the treacherous conditions. But I have personally not have seen many cars out here. It is very strange to see the city without taxis zooming in and up and down these streets, but that is the case tonight. Very few cars out here. We have seen several emergency vehicles, from police cars to ambulances and fire engines, going down this road. But as for regular motorists, if you will, that has not been the case. Officials have told us that they hope to lift that travel ban as early as 7 a.m. tomorrow, but of course that will depend on whether people do remain off the roads to allow officials to come out here and plow the streets to clear it out and get the city moving again.
Of course, there's been other disruption as well. Tunnels, roads, rail, bridges, airports, all affected by this weather. How are people reacting to that? Are they kind of taking it in their stride, or is there a sense of frustration?
You know, so far so good. It seems like most people are taking it in stride. You will remember, this is the first snowstorm to hit the Northeast this winter so far. Many people have been waiting and waiting for winter to arrive. Obviously, it is finally here. I don't know if you can see behind me. We've got about 25 inches of snow that fell here in the city. And so far, we can report that at least 18 people have died across the Northeast. 3 people alone here in the city have died just by shoveling snow, others from hypothermia, and others from car crashes. But for the most part, people are staying inside. They understand the situation is unbelievably difficult, and they are hunkering down.
Okay, Carla Baggiorena from New York City there. Thank you very much. To other news now, and a 17-year-old boy has been charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder after 4 people were killed in a school shooting in Canada. The teenager is also charged with 7 counts of attempted murder. Police say they don't yet know the motive for the shootings in La Loche in Saskatchewan. 2 of those killed were teaching staff, the other 2 were teenage brothers. The port of Calais in northern France was forced to close for a time after about 50 migrants got onto the ferry. They boarded P&O's Spirit of Britain as it was unloading. P&O Ferries says those who got on board were safely removed from the ship. Services at the port returned to normal. From the dockside, Dan Johnson reports.
Well, there has been serious disruption here at the port of Calais through this evening. The port closed for a time. Huge disruption, massive delays with hundreds of cars and lorries backing up in long lines of traffic that spread around the roads here and around the port. Well, it does look like things might be starting to get back to some level of normality. We see traffic moving again through the port, and a number of ferries have just arrived. So it does appear that at least 2 other boats at the port is now reopened. But the Spirit of Britain that you see there, the P&O ferry, that has been stuck here for some time because of these migrants who stormed the ferry terminal here and climbed aboard. We've seen a video that somebody shot on board, which actually shows the firefighting hoses on the ship being used to try and get rid of the migrants, to douse them with water to try and get them to leave. We also saw many police officers here trying to deal with them earlier on this evening.
Dan Johnson reporting. Several Latin American and Caribbean countries are warning women to avoid getting pregnant because of growing concerns over links between the Zika virus and birth defects. Women who were already expecting are being urged to seek advice before travelling to some countries in the region. Brazil is facing an unprecedented surge in cases of a condition that leads to babies being born with abnormally small heads. Julia Caniero has been to the country's northeast where the outbreak is at its worst. She sent this report from Salvador.
City agents are talking to people here in the streets of Salvador and carrying out inspections as part of a program to eradicate the Aedes aegypti mosquito. That mosquito is well known here as the dengue mosquito, but now also infamous for spreading the Zika virus and the disease known as chikungunya. Zika is being associated to the surge in cases of microcephaly here in Brazil. Babies born with heads smaller than normal. Almost 4,000 cases registered in Brazil, and Bahia is the 3rd most affected state with almost 500 cases. Brazil is getting ready for Carnival. In Salvador, around 700,000 people are expected. So there's a special effort in tourist areas like this to clean up and to combat the mosquito. But Brazil has been notoriously unsuccessful at tackling this mosquito in the past decades, with dengue epidemics every year, and now with the appearance of Zika, this leads to international concern. The virus was first detected here in May last year and is now already present in most Latin American countries.
Julia Caniero there. China's President Xi Jinping has become the first world leader to visit Tehran.